You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kervison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. Got a great one today. We are recapping the entire spring, talking about our spring practice, talking about the orange and white game, talking about the growth of this team, what we got out of spring as Tennessee Volunteers. So it's a great pod. Before we get into that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. We absolutely love the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download, and follow us on all those listening platforms that you might use. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon on Twitter for our main account, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram, at RBacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Kervison for myself on all social medias. So just really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being great fans. And let's jump into this podcast. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Got a awesome podcast for you. I'll say it that way this time. We are just recapping all of spring practice, everything we saw, what came out of it, what came out of the spring game. So it's just a full overview before we get into any of that. Reed, how we doing, bud?
Doing well, Kyler. It's not going to be an awesome pod. It's going to be not bad.
But I didn't say great.
You said awesome, though.
Yeah, but great's better than awesome.
Is it?
I would say so.
Okay. Yeah, I just think great and awesome are wow, that was a nice play by Maui Una. That's two choppas to shortstop. I've got the UT baseball game on the back. So
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So we'll see. We just want to do, this is going to be pretty short and sweet.
Yeah.
We've been dropping Monday pods, so we're recording on Sunday after church. And so that's why the UT game's on. It looks like Vandy just hit a bomb. But
all right. We won the series already.
Oh, it was foul. Get back to the home plate, loser. So, we just want to do a little overview of spring practice as a whole. Literally, like everything, like the practice that we went to, all the practices and stuff that we've heard from the coaches and, the orange and white game. So this isn't a breakdown of stuff. It's just kind of an overview. Then we're going to go ahead and tell you guys about two things that we're going to be doing for off-season,
right.
For the off-season time. So short and sweet. How was your weekend?
Not too bad. Played some golf yesterday, which was fun. I actually had a birdie and 2 pars, which is way better than I usually play. Usually I'm lucky to get a par in. But I got absolutely wrecked by the bunkers. Absolutely wrecked. Every time I landed in one, it took me at least 2 shots to get out of it. I don't know what was going on, but I also think I need to get some legit wedges so I can up my game because I don't really have legit wedges.
I'm not trying to attack where you played yesterday, but some sand traps are not even worth hitting out of when you play maybe at a public course.
That's true.
Or some private courses that just don't take care of it. I didn't want to come off sounding snooty because it's true. Public courses, private courses, sometimes they're not great, but some lower income, they don't have as many funds at a certain course. It's just not worth hitting out of the bunkers. So just pull them out.
Yeah.
So my question to you was, where should you have been hitting out of the bunkers?
Probably not. It was at McGabe's golf course.
No, you should not have been playing. I thought you guys went to Two Rivers yesterday.
No, so we didn't end up going to Two Rivers. That's where I was going to go because it's close to me, but these guys wanted to play over there. And actually with the 3 9-hole courses, it makes it easier to get on pretty quick.
McCabe, can you even have a golf cart at McCabe's?
Yeah, we were able to get one.
Huh? Was it packed? Usually that place is packed.
Yeah, it was packed. We were able to get one because an 1120 didn't show up. So
Uh,
that's why. But yeah, it was a good time though. I
just
enjoyed
pull
it.
just pull it out of the sand trap next time.
I'll do that next time. Um, but yeah, nothing to report. Just been over here, got the editing done for our Monday podcast, doing laundry and doing some just looking back over spring practice, getting ready for this.
Okay. As you can see, I've added some more stuff here to
Oh,
the. So I've got it's a really I should give the guy a shout out and I would but I forget his name. It's a guy that I followed on Twitter. He's a big Titans fan. He lives out in Arkansas. I don't know him personally. I just saw him stuff on there. It's like it might be James something, James Art or whatever, but he's a huge Titans guy. So he does these different like canvases. And so there's Cortland Finnegan, and then right here is Big Jeffrey Simmons. So I added those. We'll see if the bosses Johnny O and Double B actually watch any of these because I'm waiting for a nice Rocky Top Insider
yeah.
up here, but I haven't gotten one yet. So
One of those triangle flags.
yeah, or
The
just something.
tailgate
Yeah,
flag.
just something right here. At some point, I probably need to get something made that says pancakes and bacon, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, good weekend here. Friday, Megan and I went to see The Covenant. Dude, I love pretty much all Guy Ritchie movies, but this one was awesome. I loved the movie,
That
loved
was a
it.
scary movie, right?
No. This is an action packed like war movie.
Oh,
So
okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, and he is like a sergeant of a
Yeah, I've seen those previews.
yeah, sick movie, very very good movie. So really enjoyed that. And then Saturday just woke up, hung out. Just a bunch of boring stuff like laundry, put up clothes, put this stuff
Yeah.
up in here, clean the room, and then last night just cooked out here at the house with the family, and then stayed up till 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. to watch the Grizzlies get just smoked. I mean, they made a nice little comeback, but the game was over. It was like
Real
Tennessee.
quick.
It was like Tennessee, South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri of years past. It was like it was over before it started, just because the Grizzlies couldn't hit anything. And you know what? That's the nice thing about it when it's series. It's like, okay, I'm not furious. My night's not ruined. It's like, okay, just regroup and come back Monday and we'll see what happens.
That's all right.
So watch that. And then today had a nice church service. And then Meg and I went to Plaid Apron. And I was rocking my RTI stuff at church today. And it was funny because I was sitting down next to her and I was like, I got On Cloud shoes on. I got my Lululemon pants and my Peter Millar. I was like, just go ahead and yell out that I went to Webb. Losers.
You got your BMW in the driveway too?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I didn't. By the way, for people listening, I did not go to Webb. I went to Catholic. That's why I was taking a shot at the Webbites, the Spartans.
It's still there. Still the rivalry.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts of. I just don't want you to steal my thunder on one big thing that I have for spring practice. But go ahead. What's your thoughts on the entire spring?
Okay. So you're just nervous that I might say what you're thinking already.
Or do you want me to?
My thoughts on the entire spring is what a great opportunity it was for the young guys. That is always what spring is, or guys transitioning into positions. This is not about anybody who started last year and is starting this year. That's not what spring is about. I don't give a crap about Cooper Mace. Like I know who he is. I know who he's going to be. This isn't about him. This is about Addison Nichols. This is about Carrick and John Campbell and all those guys who transferred in.
Ollie Lane.
It's about the young linebackers and Arian Carter and T-Lander and Jalen Smith. That's what this is about. And it was great. It was awesome for them. You got to see them play so much in the spring game and get so many reps, which is awesome. When we went to practice, we got to watch them and see the kind of growth that they had, because I even felt like I saw growth from those three linebackers I mentioned when we went to practice and when I watched them in the orange and white game, which is great. And watching the orange and white game and thinking about it again, I'm so happy that all three of them are in the same class, because all three of them want to play so bad and they're competing so hard because they don't want the other freshmen to bump them. There's like this nice friendship rivalry they have going, because when you do come in with a class, you're very like prideful with your class. Like, hey, we are the class who's going to make a difference. We're the class who's going to win an SEC championship. We're going to win like that's the kind of feel you have. And then for them all to be the same position, and they're all like, hey, let's go ball out together. Because in my eyes, I kind of see them like in a great opportunity to pass maybe some of the guys that are older but aren't starting. And they looked great. So overview of spring, very happy. I love the culture that Heupel has right now and what's going. That I'm also just like so happy that I'm able to see the amount of depth. Like, I've never seen a deeper DB room. I've never seen a deeper offensive line room. I actually feel really confident about our running back room and how deep that is. And it's just like, okay, like this is what I want. This is what, like, when a guy goes down with an ankle injury, I'm not worried. I'm not freaking out. Like, we're going to be okay. There's so many guys to come in and take that spot. And especially nowadays in the transfer portal era, it's like the fact that he's able to keep all of these guys here. I mean, obviously some guys transfer as they would, but to keep some of these guys here, I mean, to keep 3 guys that had huge amounts of play time last year in the running back room, Jabari, Jalen, and Dylan Sampson. And then you've got Cam and Bishop actually playing pretty well over the spring. And it's like, holy shit, we're 5 deep. Like, we're 5 deep in this position. Like, that is awesome. So, this spring is maybe even more excited to go back to practice, because I want to see what we saw in this spring practice to training camp practice.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I think it's a very, very successful spring practice. To start, what you didn't steal my thunder, which was nice, is I'm just very happy that there wasn't a ton of injuries. I think that's one of the biggest nerve-wracking times as a fan and as a coach. You don't want to lose one of your best players, which I don't know for sure because I'm not one of the coaches, I'm not one of the players, so I'm not there in and out. But what it sounds like and what it looks like when we're there is it's almost like an NFL style where some of these guys are getting veteran days. Not, like I said, I don't know that for sure, but it seems that way. We see Jabari.
It's happening. It's definitely happening. I mean, I myself, when I was there, never got veteran days, but I got veteran periods. I got periods off during practice. They're like, I don't really need to see you go versus guys.
Right.
And when guys maybe like, hey, I rolled my ankle yesterday, and they're like, okay, well, you just won't do team tomorrow.
Right.
Like, you're good. We can do individual drills. Just don't do team. Like, it's going to be okay. And I think that's smart. It's what NFL teams do. Like, it is a smart thing, like, to actually give your guys a break. Now, don't let guys take advantage of it, because when I was there were guys who were very much taking advantage of it. Not actually as hurt as they were saying they were, and just trying to not practice, because practice isn't fun. Games are fun. Everybody knows that. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I think that's probably my number one takeaway is, hey, we got fortunate with the, not some big injury bug coming through. We were at practice. Brew had a pretty substantial wrapping, which, we're assuming that maybe he had some sort of off-season surgery that they're just kind of keeping under wraps. I don't know. Maybe that bandage or whatever was just there for who knows, whatever. But I don't need to see Brew in spring. Jabari Small was just on the sidelines in a jersey, coaching people up, talking people up. That's
Beasley,
fine. Yeah, Beasley was practicing when we were there, and then I think he got dinged up a little bit. But yeah, if you can have a veteran day, and it's a good point you brought up. if it's a mature, responsible, good person, because there are people that can be a little lazy and that they don't necessarily want to practice, even though you need to practice. And they're good enough on game days to start, but they're probably not like, they're probably not really what you want a culture to be built around. but it was nice to, Ethan Davis gets hurt in the orange and white game, but
yeah,
Coach Heupel said, hey, he should be totally fine for the start of fall practice. So
the only thing that worries about him is it is the same injury he had in high school that like held him out his senior year as a collarbone. I'm just like, oh, I hate the like reoccurring.
Yeah, and you don't ever want to be like, oh dang, he got hurt his senior year, now he's getting already dinged up. Like, you don't want him to be. It's just a part of it. We've grown up playing with people that are just naturally injury prone. For whatever reason, it just seems like, there's always something here or there. And some of the kids that I knew that were kind of injury prone, like, they were tough. Like, it wasn't anything that I think they were babying or anything like that. I think, you can't help if you legit break an arm and then a collarbone and then an ankle. It's some of that stuff's legit.
Drink some milk or something.
Who knows, man? Yeah, who knows? So, that's my number one. That's my number one takeaway is, hey, it seems to get out of there pretty clean and healthy. Plus the veteran days is great, because then that ties me into, hey, there is a lot of young guys getting a lot of reps. We've mentioned it a bunch. There's certain guys that we just don't need to see. We know what they are. We know who they are. And as long as they are still practicing, you always got to be practicing, always trying to get better. So as long as you are doing that, you can maintain some of those reps for younger people. And really, it's spring. Like when we get to fall camp, when you're getting ready to get going for real, when the games matter, that's when those guys are like, okay, hey, it was fun, you freshmen and you sophomores, that's in spring. It's time to let the big dogs eat. We got to get ready to go try to win another 10 games this year.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I think that makes for a very successful spring. No injuries, old guys getting some time, catch their legs, working on a few things, and then letting the young guys really, really get some time. The other thing for me is so far, I guess spring practice has been over for a week. And to my knowledge, the only person that's been entered in the transfer portal is Amari McNeil, which is knock on wood. Literally, this is a wood desk, so good for me. I got to knock on wood. That I don't want to jinx it. I don't necessarily think I'm going to jinx it that we're going to see anybody enter the transfer portal that we're like, or like we're like, oh no. And that is such an incredible thing in this day and time that Heupel has built the culture that it's like, hey, I might not start next year, but that's okay, because I want to be here and start for junior and senior year. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. That if we can get to that model that it's okay to sit for 2, you're a powerhouse. You are Georgia. You are Bama. Like, that is exactly what they do.
Yeah. And I matter of fact, I've seen a bunch. I've seen probably 3 or 4, at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 Georgia guys enter the transfer portal, which, I don't know, I don't keep up with them on a daily. So Georgia fans might be like, yeah, we don't care, because those guys are either off the field issues, they weren't going to play, or they're prima donnas or whatever. So who knows why? But, I heard somebody, it was a national radio person. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was CBS or ESPN or what radio I had on, but, they were like, Tennessee does have that kind of fun family feel, while Bama and Georgia are more businesslike. And both are fine. I agreed with the person who ever said it. He was like, they're both fine. You can win with both. I'm like, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
It kind of goes to show that video that you brought up that we saw where Alabama guy catches it, and it's like, okay, this is just business. This is how it is. I even thought about our time at Catholic, under Pemberton, when we didn't lose. I mean, it was,
the Patriots were all business, and I mean, they won 6 Super Bowls, but there were other teams that won Super Bowls that probably weren't as business as the Patriots were.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And not that we didn't have fun at Catholic. I can't speak on the Patriots. You were there for a little bit of time. I can't speak on them. I was not there. But I just know at Catholic, winning's fun. So for us, just showing up, practicing hard, being disciplined, all that stuff. I can promise you, we still had a blast after the games and in the games and whatever until, my senior year, your junior year, and Coach Pemberton went on and the culture kind of changed. But then, but I liked, and I would want to play for a coach, and I would even want to coach like a Coach Hype. We're going to work hard, but we're going to enjoy it too, because life is so college football, man. It's a grind. So if you can't find the little enjoyments, whether you work hard and you go get a food truck or an ice cream truck after practice, or they go and play the softball games and stuff like that. Like I personally like that type of stuff.
I love it. Because, bro, like you said, it is a grind. Like when you are in it, you're just like, dude, I can't, like, please just give me a break. Please just give me a break. I remember when Dooley was there, my second year, before we went to, God, what was it? It was like Science Hill, or there was like a small college up there. And we went there for training camp for like 5 days, 6 days. It was horrible. We had to stay in a dorm room with another guy, like no space. You had to, walk a half mile to get to the cafeteria, walk a half mile to get to the locker room. The locker room was literally an open space with folding chairs. That was the locker room. We had to walk like 2.5 miles or 2 miles to get to the damn practice field. It was awful. And like we had some 2 days mixed in there. The last day, we literally had a 2-a-day. We practiced in the morning, did all the film, ate, did the more film, got taped again, went to film, was team meeting right before practice. And he was like, every now and then, you got to throw a dog a bone. And here's your bone. Cancel practice, go get dressed, we're going home. And the place erupted. It was the most joy I'd seen on 20-year-old faces in my life, because it was just like, man, I'm so tired. I just want to leave. And the fact that he gave that to us, it was literally just not practicing. It wasn't like, here's some ice cream. Here's a fun event we're doing. It was literally just like, you don't have to practice.
Yeah.
Guys literally like had all the energy in the world after that. They were like playing volleyball in the pool, like afterwards. Like it was just like, you can't, those kind of experiences where it's like all you want is a little bit of a break and they give it to you, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So when you're able to do that and like just give a little olive branch to these guys, like it means so much to them.
Yeah, and it's also, there's so many lame cliches, but they do matter, is the team building stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all about if you have guys that you got to have guys, and when I mean guys, like the players that have the good stuff in them. They got the good stuff in their chest. They're not necessarily prima donnas. They do care about other people. They do work hard. They're humble. And so when you do team building activities, they actually work, because you can try to do team building activities with a bunch of kind of punks or selfish people or some of those individuals that are not great for your culture. And it doesn't really do much. But when you can really have a good time, and enjoy in the fruits of your labor, it's nice. So, yeah, so that we basically, if you got lost in the sauce on all that talking, it was because we've had one person into the transfer portal. Well, we're going to have more. It's going to happen. And Amari McNeil was fine. When I saw him at practice and stuff, I thought he was fine. He worked hard, practiced hard. That one seems more of like I just want to go somewhere that I know I'm going to get to play. And here we have, we got Big O, and we got DeJoun Terry, and you got Omar Norman Lott, and you got Tyler Barron, who gets bumped inside sometimes. There's just a lot of dudes there. And he just, like, I might not, it's the writing's on the wall. I performed well, but not well enough. Let me go somewhere where I can play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what.
And I'm not going to fault him for that if he left on good terms and he just feels like he needs to go somewhere else to play.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't see him much in the spring game. I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense. Like, you're not going to be the first 4 guys, which means very sparing reps. I mean, especially at D-line, they rotate all the time. It's like you might get 5, 10 a game, and that's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another thing I want to talk about is maybe solidified spots of who we think like actually maybe got their solidified spot that we were looking for. So, for example, offensive line, I think now the solidified spots, the spots we're missing is Darnell and in Jerome, and who we're trying to get in those. It is John Campbell or Mincy at that left tackle spot. It's one of those two guys. So it's not solidified yet. There's still a competition there. We saw John go in before we saw Mincy, but we will see. And then the guard spot is Carrick, and who I think could work his way up is Addison Nichols. I think the competition is going to be between those two guys for that other guard spot. And whoever doesn't make it is going to be that rotation guy. If any of the interior guys get hurt, I trust that Addison could step in and take over that spot. If any of the tackles get hurt, I trust that Jeremiah, Mincy, John Campbell can come in, you can rotate, and we'll be okay. And then just other spots like, we always do the linebackers are almost like 4 deep in a way. So it's like Beasley and Peli, I think, have kind of solidified those 2 interior starters. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I think the next group is Elijah and Caleb Perry.
I don't feel comfortable talking about the offensive lineman until we see him again in fall, because there's way too much. I mean, you just mentioned the guard spot without even talking about Ollie Lane, which I'm not saying I think Ollie starts. I'm not saying that at all. I just think there was so much movement in the orange and white game. Let me get to fall camp and see. But that's your position. You see it better. You know it better than I do. That's fine. Yeah, linebacker. It seems like they just kind of solidified. Keenan Pili must have come in and done exactly what they wanted and been exactly who they wanted and needed and thought that he could be, because, it's him and Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
And the depth at linebacker is super nice because you have those guys. Then you got Elijah and Caleb Perry, which are sophomores that played on special teams. Elijah got some snaps in actual game time last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the 3 freshmen that are going to be pushing them. So I think that is really, really great for the upcoming years. But yeah, I would say those guys are probably pretty solidified with a very close. They're as solidified as they can be without being absolutes. Aaron Beasley's an absolute. Keenan Pili's an absolute to start, but I don't think if he plays, I think that if he plays some of the ways that I saw on film when he was at BYU, they're not going to leave him in there. And so that's where an Elijah Herring or maybe a Caleb Perry will get their opportunity. Defensive backs is definitely not settled, in my opinion. Well, excuse me. I think it's very settled, but I think you're going to see Tamarian. You're going to see Wesley Walker. You're going to see Tank, and then is it Danico Slaughter is the other corner, and if that's the case, okay, is Kamal going to be one of the corners? But I think a lot of the positions are pretty solidified in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other places where, like, I think Castles at tight end is actually going to get some good playing time.
Yeah,
I think he really made himself known as a plug and play guy. Like, hey, I can do this. I'm smart enough. I'm older. Like, I can figure this out. I think, bearing the injury and coming back, I think Ethan Davis gets some playing time. Which, before spring, you're like, I have no idea if this freshman can step up. But now I feel confident that he can get in the rotation.
Well, yeah, because going into spring, you're like, okay, we know Jacob, and that's it. And then we watch Castle, and we're like, okay, yeah, Castle's an older guy. We're not going to be surprised if he plays. And then we see Ethan, and that has to be at least 3 guys that you probably feel good about, which makes you feel good about, which is nice because then you can have 2 on the field at once. If someone goes down, then you can still have 2 to rotate.
Exactly. And then in the wide receiver position, like, I think we gained a lot more confidence in Nathan Leacock in the fact that he can be the 4th receiver, behind Squirrel and Brew and Ramel.
No. I think you're jumping. I think you're jumping Caleb Webb with Nathan. I think both of them are probably pretty equal.
Okay.
I mean, if you go Ramel, Squirrel, Brew, and Dante, so you feel really good there, and then you're probably going to feel good about Caleb. I mean, Nathan is a true freshman. I mean, sure. I mean, I think he could. I wish I would have seen a little bit more from Chaz. And then there's one other one I'm trying to think of too. But yeah. So I feel pretty good on all the way around the team. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I feel that places where we had question marks, where guys had left for the draft, where they transferred out or whatever happened, it was, oh, wow, we found somebody. We found a replacement. Like, okay, what are we going to do now that Fant left? Oh, we got a couple tight ends that can step in. What are we going to do now that Jeremy Banks left? Well, Peli's looking pretty good, and Elijah Herring's showing a lot of growth. So it's like, all right, I like the fact that we were able to fill those positions, even though they were huge positions for us.
Yeah. And even with BY going, you still have Tyler Barron and Roman Harrison coming back, which is great. I mean, that is great stuff. And then we got Joshua Joseph that you and I both love to see how he was progressing. And,
now, do you still feel, I guess, I don't want to judge him based off one play, but James Pierce being able to.
I'm not going to judge him off that one play, but there was not other plays that made me excited about it. So he's kind of what it is. I did read some stuff, and I think they really like Caleb Herring, as a freshman. But does that mean they really like him because they're like, oh, he looks good as a freshman, he's going to be a good player here? Or is that like, oh, we really like him as a freshman, he's going to be playing next year?
Yeah, exactly.
So you just never know there. But yeah, overall, I think it's a 1 out of 10, Kyler. I don't know how you can give this thing anything less than an 8, 8.5, or a 9. I mean, it's a spread. Get out of it with some good work for the young guys. Maybe try some different pieces. I mean, the young guys besides Ethan to get to feel really good about a daggum walk-on, which it's not fair because he's not a true walk-on, but with Deshaun Bishop and then Cam Miller, who's a true freshman, who they it was like kill two birds with one stone because they found out he can play, but they also found a position that they probably felt really good about. They probably knew he was going to play running back when they recruited him.
Cam Selden.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said Cam Miller.
I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. Cam Selden. Yes. So and you figure those things out. So it's nice. Like very successful all the way around it in my books. So now to kind of tie it up, we're going to be doing. We are bringing one thing back, and I've always loved it because I came up with it, and I think it's great. I love the name. It's Big Orange Juice. And if any of you loyal people who have been with us from the jump, you remember the Big Orange Juice. And I came up with the name Big Orange Juice before the University of Tennessee had their juice or the juice. But Big Orange Juice is where we get Kyler. And I have a few juicy stories from behind the scenes of players or coaches during his 5 years at Tennessee. So we're one week, we're going to give you a Big Orange Juice story for an episode. And then we're going to lean into what we love and what hopefully you all love is our breakdown of games and film. So
I can't wait for that.
So we're going to do a little series. I guess it'll probably be 7 or 8 week series.
So we're going to do major games of the previous year.
Yeah.
And, you can go back and watch our podcasts that are like 2 hours long on those games where we literally go almost play by play and break things down. But being able to go back and show the audience, hey, look how great this play is. This is why this play works. This is why it's such an awesome play call in this scenario. So just kind of give you guys some like inside baseball as what I'm saying of like why this play works, why this play is great.
Baseball?
Yeah, that's that's just what I thought of. Like that's what came to mind is like inside baseball where what?
Is that a show, Inside Baseball?
Yeah, where they go in depth into things.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So we're showing you the in-depth part of those plays. It's not like, hey, how great was that throw to Jalen Hyatt? It's like, well, hold on. How was that throw set up?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that part.
Yeah, and we're going to do our 3. So Kyler and I, for those series, we'll do our 3 favorite plays, and then we're going to do our 3 favorite play calls. So one of those could be, hey, this is my favorite play call because it set up that long touchdown to Brew, or it really opened up for Ramel to come in on the dig. So, Yeah, so 1 week it'll be a big orange juice, and then the next week it'll be a breakdown. And so, yeah, it'll probably, Pitt, Florida, Bama, Georgia, South Carolina. I don't know if we'll do a Missouri one. Definitely do an Orange Bowl one. And so those are kind of doing what our off-season stuff will be until we get to fall camp and all those things.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Hopefully we can get some good podcasts going. Then we'll keep doing the recruiting ones, guys who commit. We'll keep putting them out, on Mondays. Those are nice, easy, quick ones, and more film breakdown, which we like.
Yeah. Great weekend. We should have shouted out at the beginning. I was telling my dad last night, and since Tony V, my dad played baseball, and that he loves basketball, he loves football, he loves baseball, but he loves baseball a lot more than I do. So ever since Tony V's made this team relevant, he's been really locked in, and he enjoys watching it. And so I'll give him credit. Me as a fair weather fan, after they started losing a couple, I was like, all right, I'm not watching anymore. but I did check the score, and we got out of the movie on Friday and saw that we won on the walk-off, which is electric, absolutely electric.
Crazy.
Yeah, and my uncle on my dad's side, not Lou, but Uncle Jimmy has season tickets to everything, and so he asked if we wanted his baseball tickets for Saturday. And Flora and I were going to go, but we already had some stuff, and we're like, no, probably not. It would have been a hell of a game to be at, just because it would have been, you're beating their ass, and we're getting runs after runs after runs, so it would have been an exciting game to be at. But anyways, I was talking to my dad. I said, you know what? I said, if I had to pick a team to win the series or to sweep, I said it's Vandy. And I don't know if it's close. I'm over Arkansas, Florida, LSU, maybe Bama. Maybe Bama I would pick to sweep them. But sweeping Vandy in their sport, they're number 4 in the nation, and we're not ranked right now. And it's, we beat them with a walk-off, and then Saturday was an ass beating. Right now it's 9-2. I mean,
insane. And I know it's like the best part is, even if we didn't get to where we wanted to, football beat Bama. They beat the big dog in football. Basketball beat Bama, who is ranked number 1. They beat the big dog. Baseball beats Vandy, even though they're not doing it. It's like we're still getting those wins that make us feel so good. Dude, you could have 10 years ago, you couldn't pay for those wins. We would never have those. It was always, we're gonna lose every game. Like, here's another season of losing. And now to have those victories, even though we're not doing that great in baseball, that's still just that feels good, especially that ass whooping yesterday.
Well, they're not doing as great as how they were last year or 2 years ago, but last year was a statistically greatest college baseball team of all time. So it's like a little hard to follow that up. And it's not that they're a bad team. They just are kind of finding their way, I guess, and not as good as last year. So, but yes, it's beautiful to see.
I mean, baseball was bad when I was there, so I'm glad we're somewhere better now.
Exactly. All right, bro. See you later.
All right, man. See ya. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. We absolutely love the comments, love to answer, love to see them. Some are pretty funny. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download, and follow us on all those platforms you might be using. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram, at RBacon26 for Reed on Twitter, at Kyler Curbison for all social medias for myself. And very much appreciate you guys. You're the best fans in the world. And as always, go Vols.